businesses. And this is Marilyn and John, and we're here with our special guest, Wade Harmon. The purpose of our Web Technology for Small Business show is to help small businesses understand the various aspects of technology as it applies to web and web businesses. And one of the first things we're going to do is
our sponsors.
Take our sponsors. So let me. Oceanside Chamber has provided the venue here for our live audience. We really appreciate their participation. They're really into helping small businesses promote themselves, and they provide all kinds of opportunities for small businesses. If you are big on having a really nice vacation along the coast of California, Oceanside would be a great place to go. You have the harbor, you have surfing, you have the pier for fishing, you have day boats, night boats, you have everything that you want. Our next sponsor is Sonic Spider LLC, which is Marilyn and I. RightStartWebsite.com is where we provide visibility, WordPress services, and training and coaching, along with Sonic Web Tech, where we provide a lot more geeky kinds of stuff and e-commerce, custom e-commerce solutions. We also have Create a Computer Network, which is our background engineer, responsive IT solutions. If something has crashed or died on your computer, he's the guy to go to. And here he is. This is Rich. He's in the background here, helping run our show.
Thank you, Rich.
Okay. I forgot my little sheet. Anyway, our guest is Wade Harmon. As you can see, he's involved in a lot of things. He works for Weld Media, and he is really involved in relationship marketing, as you can see. And what I'm going to have Wade do is tell us a little bit about how he came about being an expert in relationship marketing. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for having me. First of all, John and Marilyn, I really appreciate you guys asking me to be on the show. And you know, I've known Marilyn at least for a little while, and it's been my pleasure to get to know you over time. And so I just really appreciate y'all asking me to come on. I hope Chris is watching this right now. It shows my face on top of everything. So no, I work for. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Will Media Corporation. It's a firm based out of New York City, and we do digital and PR work, website design, and your basic social marketing and your advanced social marketing. And so we do it all. We've got the corporation and writers, and you know, I fell into relationship marketing on completely by accident, because I actually knew that, you know, whenever I first started blogging about 3 years ago, I come out of the coal mines and didn't know anything about it, and people were saying, okay, you need to find a niche, a specific thing that you know how to do well. And so, well, the only thing that I knew how to do well was, you know, fix a cat pad on a miner, you know. So I didn't really know anything about this, and I still don't profess to be, you know, very knowledgeable. But you know, I appreciate you saying that I'm an expert at this. I really don't feel like I am. I just I do what I feel like I know is best for me and the follower, and I'm good at what I do. Is I believe the reason I'm good at what I do is because I'm just me, and I don't try to pretend to be anybody else. I don't try to, you know, say anything that I can't do. You know, try to do what I say all the time. And so relationship marketing to me is just, you know, trying to be who you are, because as a blogger starting out, you kind of take on the persona of other popular bloggers. You see the success of other people, and it's kind of hard to, you know, say, well, okay, I want to be like Pat Flynn, so I need to start talking about what Pat Flynn talks about, and this and that. And so that's the road I kind of went down for about a year. and it just wasn't working. And it didn't start working for me until I just dropped all that and started being me.
Well, your humility is well noted, and but I know that you are an expert, Wade, and we're really excited to talk and get into more just what relationship marketing is, and I thought that's maybe where we could start is just what do we mean, or what do you mean by the term relationship marketing? Is it building relationships? Is it more than that? Is it a little different than that? Maybe you could get into what that term means to you.
Well, the term relationship marketing, you can Google this, and I actually Googled it because I wanted to get the answer right. It's basically was defined as a form of marketing that was developed from a type of direct response marketing campaigns. So basically, that emphasizes customer retention and satisfaction rather than a dominant force all the time. You know how Gary Vaynerchuk has the jab, 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 right hook book. So it's like instead of right hook, right hook, right hook, right hook all the time, you're jabbing, and then you have to understand when to throw the right hook. That's the premise of his book. And so relationship marketing, I mean, of course you can Google that, and it's right on the very top if you want to Google that. But to me, relationship marketing is just building relationships and building friendships. As far as, yes, I want to be successful. Yes, I want to make lots of money online. I mean, I'm doing this to provide for my family, but I understand that it's people like you and John and the people that I work with, Chris and Dustin, all those other guys. I have to build a layer, a foundation, because you help each other get to the top. You help each other climb that ladder of success, because you cannot do it without you. I've never heard of a lone wolf that made it to the top by himself. So it always has to do with other people, and primarily it always has to do with others before yourself. And so my take on relationship marketing is to be a servant to other people and to try to serve others, help them meet their goals. We got into a pretty heated discussion about this last night. Being useful and helpful 100% of the time. And when you do that, it's kind of like when you go to the doctor and they hit your knee, your foot reacts when your knee is hit. That's exactly the way it is. When you are useful and helpful to people, there's going to be a reaction that happens, that people are going to put titles on you, and they're going to reward you with different things. Not because, I'm going to do, not because you're a fake person, not because, hey, I'm going to do this so people will do this to me. That's not the way it works. You have to be genuinely 100% involved in these people's successes, and you have to want to help people. I've got a friend. Her name's Sarah Lamoth. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's an artist here on Google Plus. And I was the first one to buy a painting that she did, and it's just supporting each other, and that's the way I feel. And that's when the reward is giving yourself, and the expectation is none. But on their side, when they're watching you serve them or try to help them in some way or another, every time I've always seen it happen like this, they always respond positively in some way or another. Whether the first time around it may just be a simple social share of your article. The second time around it might be purchasing a book or whatever that you've written, or a course, whatever it may be. But eventually you lead these people up the ladder with you. I've got a great friend. His name is Jason Mathis. He's one of my oldest friends online, and I met him probably a week or two into my blogging experience. And today we help each other. and I will not go to the top without helping him come with me. That's just the way I feel about it, and because I feel like he would do the same thing for me. That's relationship building. It's helping each other and being useful.
Well, I think that is what has set you apart, Wade, is that is so clear in your interactions with everyone, at least on Google Plus. That's where I'm active and where I have come to know you, is you really do an amazing job of lifting up others, and it's I'm sure it's why you are becoming so successful, because you're not making it about you. You're making it about other people, which is what I hear you saying. It's about, it's not making necessarily you making relationships, people allowing people to build relationships with you so that you're focusing on their needs.
Yeah, and that's even that, I mean, that's what I try to do that. I'm nobody important or special. Um, and Lord knows I'm not, I don't count myself as popular as Mark Trapagan or any of these other well-known names, but I do have a passion to help people. I do want to help people, and I don't know any. I'm not smart in tech. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to write CSS code. I can barely write an article. But what I am good at is communication, is talking with people, and people have the tendency to trust me, and I don't put that trust on display. I hold it to where they want me to hold it. I don't take advantage of that, and I think a lot of people, and even going back to last night, I think a lot of people can't understand that I am that way, and that I don't mean anything underlying, or that I don't mean anything hidden about it. And I believe that's the way you have to be. You have to be totally transparent with people. The way I am right now is the way I am sitting in my living room watching Sports Center. This is me, just laid back, relaxed, and that's the way I am when I'm working. And I believe that's what you have. You can't be one person online, and you can't be the person you are in your living room. Now, Nicholas Cardot brings up an interesting question, that there are levels of openness that you will let people in, and I do agree with that. And if you read his post on that, you'll understand what I'm saying. He says that he'll do stuff in private that he wouldn't do out in public, and because he wouldn't do that out in public in front of you is because you didn't know him as well as you ought to know him, and I understand that. But you can still graduate people to this point, and it's all about being transparent and being yourself with people, because people, number one, people don't like change. They want, in the ever-changing world of social media and marketing as it stands right now, the only thing that can be constant is you. And so when you can show that constantness in someone's life, then they trust you. And when trust forms, guess what? A relationship builds. And when the relationship builds, you've got a follower that has attached himself or herself to your brand or to your way of thinking. That way, when people come, whenever you have that product, people will come to you without a moment's hesitation. I know Marilyn, I know John, and so because I know them and I trust them, I'm gonna buy this product from them. But it takes just a little while to get to that point.
Now, for small businesses, there's kind of a natural impulse in small businesses to be more personal and be more of interaction and talking and whatnot with people, which gives a small business a lot of an advantage, because it is more immediate, because it's the business, them, and the potential customers or contacts or whatever. So how do you translate it from just that immediate kind of a thing to creating enthusiasm, not only for you but for what you do? Do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I would say one thing you said the small businesses are more personal, and I agree with you. They have a more personal family style of feel to them, and people tend to trust the small business organizations more. But if you'll watch social media, the large businesses are trying to be more personal now on social media, mostly on Twitter, because these businesses are doing something that we can all do, and that is strategic listening. They're trying to place themselves in a situation to where they can be useful and helpful to people. Was listening to Jay Bear speak last week in Las Vegas, and he brought up the point of a Hilton Hotel, and a man had just tweeted into the wind, I'm in Dallas. Where's a good hotel to stay at? And this is no. He said, I'm in Dallas and I'm staying at the Marriott or some other Hilton hotel, some other hotel that wasn't a Hilton. And he said, where's some good places to eat around this hotel? And the Hilton Hotel, I think it was the Hilton Answers or something like that. But they were watching that stream. They were watching something about hotels or whatever it may be. They were strategically listening, and then they came to him and they said, well, hey, Dave, you're staying at such and such hotel. We recommend this Chinese restaurant. It's only a few blocks away. And he wasn't even staying at their hotel.
Oh.
And that's how you get people excited about your brand. It's not about today. Relationship marketing has never been about today. Relationship marketing is playing the long game. And so when you can play the long game with people, and you're consistently helping, and consistency in strategic listening and throwing that out there, they may not have bought a product off of me, but possibly I can help them find a product that relates to the one that they bought, and possibly even help them further. The next time they think, oh, okay, I need to stay at a hotel. Where am I going to stay at? They're going to remember Hilton helped me, and so I'm going to stay at their hotels. And so I believe it's putting yourself into a strategic place on social media to where you can listen to these people, even people you don't know, and you can help them by doing that, putting yourself in the right place. That way, that gets people to start talking about you and buzzing about you.
So how, just in a real nuts and bolts kind of way, then how does a small business go about doing that strategic listening? Is there any that you use, or?
I would just whatever, Hilton, the Hilton Hotel was in the Twitter stream in the search bar where anyone that had mentioned either hotels or food. So they were in the stream where those keywords were coming up in that Twitter stream. So if you're wanting to strategically listen, and you can do this on Google Plus too, it's in that top bar above the video screen here, and just type in health and fitness and watch. And sometimes you won't find nothing. Sometimes you'll find all kinds of stuff. Twitter is probably the best place to do it because it's just continually going.
Yeah, very good point.
It's a good use of.
But what about the time commitment to constantly following Twitter?
Yeah.
Rich, our engineer here and create a computer network, is asking, what about time involved for the small business person? Is that he's thinking, gee, that sounds kind of time consuming. Do you have any thoughts on how to manage that?
That is time consuming. You do have to manage your time wisely with anything. Big corporations like Hilton, they have the money and the operations to just pay someone to search for those. So I would say take 30 minutes out of your day and do your social listening. They always say have social media time. Let that be part of your social media time. So if you're in San Diego and you're wanting to find someone that's looking for the best surf shop or the best mall or dining area in San Diego, just put those keywords in, and I'm assuming San Diego is a very big place, so you're probably going to get a lot of stuff. And you could say, hey, you could reply with the Chamber of Commerce Twitter and say, all right, so you're staying here. This restaurant is 3 blocks away, and you can do this at the surf shop or whatever. It's just helping, and it's not selling, but it's helping. It's keeping you in the back of their mind, and that's the whole key of it. It's not selling anything.
Yeah, you probably also want to think of strategic times for your time zone in terms of when would people be asking those kinds of questions, and target your social media time to those time zones, don't you think?
Yeah, that's right. But there's one thing that happens, and it kind of stinks. And I see this on Pinterest and Twitter and Google Plus, all these posts about what time we should be posting. And these are great. I mean, we have to have some kind of a strategy. I agree with this. I understand this. But one thing that doesn't happen is opportunities don't adjust their watch. Opportunities and the way that you can help somebody. A useful opportunity doesn't say, well, at 12:03 I'm going to be in this Twitter stream. See what I'm saying? It's just like it can happen at any time, at any place. As far as strategic listening, I don't think that there is a certain time for strategic listening. I think there's a certain time for strategic posting. But for listening, I believe you have to always be listening.
Very good point of differentiating between when you're listening and when you're posting. Very good point. I think Rich had a...
Just a quick question. Is there
question.
a way that you can use Twitter hashtags to help you categorize that sort of listening?
The question was, is there a way to use Twitter hashtags to help you categorize what you're searching for? Yeah, your strategic listening.
Yeah, sure. You can use hashtags. Usually, people that are tweeting if they want the information, normally they'll put the hashtag in because Twitter's known for the hashtag. But just take this example. Last night, I was watching the Rams and the 49ers play ball, and so I like getting on Twitter, and so the whole night I was just tweeting Monday Night Football, and I wasn't putting the hashtag in. Oh, yeah. And but then I put the hashtag in after I realized what I had done, and as long as those keywords are there, that it'll find it.
Okay. Now we had somebody on our stream, Lee Richter, who said he couldn't hear us very well. So I've made adjustments. Lee, can you hear us better now?
Lee Richter.
Yeah. Let us know if we're better. I've realized that our mic was moved a little farther away than I thought it should be. So anyway, give us a buzz if we're still can't be heard very well. Okay. Anyway.
I was just going to say one thing. One of our audience members, Gwen Evans, says she loves total transparency, hard to find online as well as in person. So I was just going to say a couple of things and then get your reaction, Wade, on transparency. Transparency is no hidden agendas, being honest what your motives are, being clear about your process, but it also doesn't mean that you have to reveal every wart and wrinkle. Am I right there that you don't have to be too personable, but not necessarily personal as far as, or am I wrong on that? What's your thought?
No, I feel like that, like I said before, there's levels to the transparency that you can use. I love my wife. She's my best friend in the whole world, and so we'll eat dinner, and she hates this. She hates when I do this, but I'll finish drinking something to drink, and I'll just burp, and I would never do that in front of Marilyn or John. And that's a level of intimacy and transparency that she gets to see that you don't. And so I believe that I can still be authentic and yet not be truly transparent to everyone because of the levels of intimacy in the transparent factor. But it is very important to be as transparent as you can be with people because people's BS meters are pretty good. They're fine
Yeah.
too. They know.
Yeah.
Very good point. Did you have something? Or?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is relationship marketing a standalone? Is the word is strategy appropriate here, or is it part of a greater strategy, or in combination with other types of marketing, or how would a small business person fit it in the big picture?
Well, number one, I hate the term relationship marketing because it sounds like that when somebody introduces me as a relationship marketer, that means that I twist and turn someone into, and I build a relationship for the evil, Dr. Evil or whatever. It almost sounds like a dirty word,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, you're right. It has a con artist feel to
yeah,
it.
and so I hate the term relationship marketing, but I believe that when it's not just a standalone. It can be a standalone thing, but one of the things, I mean, when you're in social marketing, you base everything on relationships. Look at some of the more popular people on Google Plus. They're talking about building relationships. Rebecca Radice and Denise Wakeman just did a podcast on building relationships. One of my buddies, I think it was Jeff C, talked about relationships the other day. He's a Pinterest guy. So I think relationship marketing is the foundation on which all successful businesses are built on. Take the Chamber of Commerce again for an example. It's the people that make up that business, and the strength and the bond of these people as they work together and help each other builds that business's brand. That business can't go out by itself and communicate with other people, but it's people connecting with each other and sharing information and just helping each other, and then you're building relationships. And when you're building relationships, you build a layer and a layer and a layer of relationships. As you keep building that up, you're going to have a strong strategy to go on. Everything, I personally feel like everything is built on relationship marketing. Relationships are the foundation of your business, and then everything else is set on top.
Well said, and I really like the way you talked about the layers. This doesn't happen, and it goes with that long-term view also. This isn't something that happens all at once. It happens over time. And getting back also to what you were talking about, how trust is at the core of those relationships too. And not only does it take time to build and build trust, but you have to keep earning it, right? It's something, it's not like, oh, now I have trust, or this person's given me trust. I have to keep earning their trust.
Yeah, I think I believe that once you have someone's trust, you have their trust. But I believe that you have to stay consistent with that person to keep their trust. Now you can trust. You've heard that saying, I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, or I trust him more than I trust him. That means you don't trust him. You either trust somebody or you don't trust somebody. So once the trust is made, then it's up to you to maintain that consistency with that person, so the trust bond can be strengthened. Trust, I don't think it grows bigger, but I believe it grows as far as strength grows. So more or less, like if you had a friend that you was lifelong friends with this person, and say you made a mistake and you hit their car or something, they're not going to go off mad at you because they built that relationship and built that trust. They're going to give you a second chance. That's trust, and that's friendship too.
That's true, because that actually happened to me once. I backed into a colleague and friend's car, and that was like 30 years ago, and we're still friends. So you made a good point. I was just curious if you had you talked about not liking the term relationship marketing. If there's another way to phrase that you like or prefer, just so I know for future.
Everybody knows it as relationship marketing, so I've never thought about changing it. I have said that I didn't like the word before, but people know it as that, and maybe it's just me thinking that. I don't know, but I guess it's where I research it every day and do my best to help people by using it every day. So maybe it's just me because it's on my brain all the time.
Okay, we have another question.
No, it's more a statement. I think
Oh.
you're not wrong about relationship marketing. I think if it comes across as manipulation, that's what it is. It's not marketing anymore.
The comment was from Rich again, saying that if it comes across as manipulation, then it's not marketing anymore. It's something else, something people don't like.
Well, I don't know. I mean, isn't sometimes manipulation is marketing because you're wanting to manipulate people to click on your link.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of manipulation. Social media is. The call to action is just a socially correct way of saying manipulated you into clicking this link. See what I'm saying? So
So you're saying sometimes is manipulation a bad word, or?
No, I believe that there is a little what I'm saying is there is a little manipulation in all of marketing, because one of the things that I do when I do my articles, I want to make sure that, number one, I'm telling a story. Why do I want to tell a story? Because I want the reader to respond. So in a sense, I'm kind of manipulating this reader to do what I want them to do at the end of the post. Whether it's normally for me, I'm not really selling anything, so I just want them to respond or I want them to share. When I share this post on social media, I painstakingly take the time to find the best image possible, something that will grab that user and grab their attention and draw their eye to my post. Therefore, they will click that link. So, in a sense, I believe types of marketing is manipulation. Now, you're talking to someone that is, I am not, an expert at all in marketing. I'm a coal miner, for crying out loud. But just from what I see, I believe that there is a little manipulation in every type of marketing, because you're wanting people to do what you want them to do. And now I think the call to action word is a better word than manipulation, because it's not like you're trying to herd people in, with the whip, but you do want people to come. And so with that aspect, your thought processes is, I do want them to do this, so that means in order for them to do this, I need to do this. So it's social psychology manipulation.
Isn't it also has to do with, by listening to your audience and getting to know your audience?
Yes.
You get the feeling that you know the kinds of things that will benefit them. And so your manipulation has to do with manipulating them to their benefit. So that
That's
you are
exactly
confident,
right.
So that you're confident that when the process is over, they're going to be happy. They're going to be glad you led them to that solution.
That's right. Perfect way to put it.
I want to say that.
It is intention. If your intent is to deceive, or your intent is to help.
Well, not just that, but also by listening to your customer and listening to your audience, you have a feeling and a feeling that you can now lead them to the solution or the answer that they really did want, and present it to them in a way that they're going to go, oh yeah, that's what I was looking for, or that's what I need. Yeah, you led them, you directed them, so there's a manipulation there, but you listened too. You really listened to where they were going, what they were wanting to do. Does that sound like the right direction of what you're thinking?
Yeah, it does to me, and it's all, and maybe that's the wrong word, the manipulation, but I mean, that's what we're doing. It's to their benefit, because you know that they need to read this post. you know that your product will help them, but they don't know that yet. So you have to kind of guide them along the road.
Tony, did you have a question?
It was more, you hit on, I'm Tony Warfield, by the way. You know, one of the things, because I'm into marketing, heavily into marketing, and one of the things that's important for us all to understand is we might be in a position to where we can lead, but we're also people who are being led. We are also consumers. We also purchase things. We also go online and look for things. So you have to remember how you feel about certain terminologies, how you feel about certain pictures, how you feel about certain campaigns, and then relate that to your customers or your potential customers. The word manipulate, you will never see that in marketing, right? But the word manipulate is a word that you don't want to use yourself because you're programming yourself, right? So if you're thinking manipulation, like Rich said, your intent is at issue here, right? So it's like, okay, I would rather use the word lead, because everyone that goes online looking for anything, they're looking for someone to lead them. Our goal is to lead them to us and what we can do for them. That's what
Well said.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, we have a question here. Rich, you got up?
Well, I did have one, but this builds on it.
Okay. Why don't you put it up there and let's take a look at it. This is from Lee. Relationship marketing can also be used to build a business by expanding your collaborations. Market yourself by bringing yourself and I can't read that.
And you'll grow
And
your
you'll
tribe.
grow your tribe of buyers and sellers.
We're kind of far from the screen.
Yeah, we're kind of far from that screen, so and it's kind of fuzzy. But I think you probably did. You see it there, Wade?
Yeah, I did. I think it says market yourself by being yourself.
Being
and
yourself.
You'll grow your tribe of buyers and sellers.
Very good.
Lee is right again.
Lee is right again. Very good. Okay, that's a good point there. Okay.
I was going to ask if we've talked a lot about transparency, we've talked about leading and so forth. So do you ever find there's any conflict between being strategic and being genuine and authentic, or is that a non-issue if you're transparent?
It's never really been an issue with me because, just to be honest with you, I don't have a strategy. I really don't. I just go out and I try to write articles that will help people. I try to write articles that I'm passionate about, and as you guys saw last night, trying to defend the articles. If you write something then you can defend it well. But as far as a strategy, I don't have much of a strategy. My strategy is to help people be successful, and if I can climb a little bit higher on the ladder, you better know that I will eventually write about it and try to help someone else, clear that gap too.
Well, I think that's probably one of the most refreshing things about this is it's something anyone can do. It's not like requiring special skills, or it does take time.
Yeah,
but
and you also, I think, have to be aware of the tools that you have, and understand how to best use those tools, whether it's Twitter or Google Plus or Facebook or any of those tools. And each of those tools has their advantages and disadvantages. Do you have any thoughts about which kind of tool is best for different kinds of industries? Do you have any thoughts in that area? Like, if you're this kind of a business, these set of tools might get you farther than those set of tools.
When you say tools, do you mean social?
I mean Google Plus, social media tools, yes.
Networks?
Yeah, like Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn and
Pinterest.
Pinterest and yeah, all of those kind of things. Do you have any feelings about where the strengths are for different types?
No, I don't. Again, it's just depends on which platform that can really connect you with your audience, and which platform can, help make you the most useful, the most helpful. I know that I'm on Pinterest too, and I see a lot of do-it-yourself projects that are successful on Pinterest. Lowe's is pretty successful on there, and they have these little pennant projects. People like businesses like the Huffington Post, of course, they're big on Google Plus, whereas you go to Pinterest, and I don't really see Huffington Post on Pinterest. So, and the same thing, Hilton is big on Twitter. So it's what I like about it is you have the same playing field as everyone else does. It's just whenever I first started, I made the mistake of trying to be 100% involved in 100% of the social media networks. Now I do Pinterest of the morning and Pinterest of the evening, and then Google Plus pretty much all day. I have a tab open for Google Plus, and then I will randomly go to Twitter and retweet somebody else. And that's my strategy for that. It's Google Plus is the platform that I've chosen because more or less people have communicated better and engaged with me better from this platform.
Okay, we have a question from
Baranaz.
Baranaz. Put it up, Rich. Basically, maybe we can integrate the concept of relationship building into our value system and introduce that from the beginning as one of our values. Isn't that more authentic? Is that possible?
Sure. Yeah, and you know, it's anybody can do what I'm doing. I mean, it's really easy to be transparent. It's really easy to just be you. And you don't have to start. I mean, say if you know, just like me, I didn't start doing the relationship marketing until I was 2 years into the business. So even if you've already started, and you could turn the corner and do this, but should you make it your niche? That's the only thing. You should definitely make it your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But should you make it your specific area of expertise, or quote unquote the place you want to get to, and you know, to be called as an expert one day? Maybe so, but either way, you still need to have it. Every business needs to have some form of relationship marketing in their portfolio.
So let's say that someone doesn't have it in their portfolio as of yet. So how would you say recommend to get started? Like pick one platform to begin with, or if someone is just hasn't been starting down that road yet?
Possibly looking for your audience too. I mean, the audience that might be that you can be of value to.
Yeah, and of course I'm very partial to Google Plus, so this is kind of a biased question for me. So if someone, you know, I'm a blogger, and most of the people that are looking to, you know, break out into the industry are bloggers, and so if you are a blogger, then I suggest Google Plus. And I went and I spoke at social media convention in Tulsa at the first of the year. And I made a huge speech on Google Plus and how it could just help boost your visibility, and people were pumped up. Yeah, we're gonna start doing Google Plus, and yeah, you know, all this stuff. And so they got on Google Plus and they all circled me, and the first day I saw a couple of them post, and I was like, well, shoot, that's good. They're starting. And then the second day they were, you know, nowhere to be found. So doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or if you're on Google Plus, Twitter, whatever you decide to be on, be there. Woody Allen says 80% of success is simply showing up. This is the easiest job to be successful at, because you just got to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So consistency is just one of the big factors.
Consistency is 90% of this whole game. Now, of course, you have to have you've got to have thoughts and ideas, and try to, you know, don't try to be amazing. It's not about being amazing on social media. It's about being useful. Amazing is not a strategy. Amazing is gambling, and gamble with your marketing strategy. Be useful. That's 100% always going to work for you, and be consistent.
Yeah, one of the fears that I hear from people over the years as I've worked with different small businesses is just a fear of giving away too much. There's always that apprehension, and I know you probably feel like no, give, and I would agree with that. But still, how do you get past that feeling that you're going to get taken advantage of, that somebody is going to keep using you and using you? Obviously, you're going to have to put a little break somewhere.
Yeah.
And how do you judge that? Do you have some thoughts on
Well, there's a story that Jay Bear tells that talks about the Geek Squad, and everybody knows the Geek Squad, and it talks about how they were giving free information away and free videos away to people that needed to learn how to fix their computers.
Mhm.
And so what does Geek Squad do? You take your computer to them and let them fix it. So, but they were giving their information away for free.
Mhm.
And so in turn it looks like, well, that's not a good business strategy because we're showing somebody else how to do my job, and if somebody else knows how to do my job, I don't have a job. So this is what they done for 6 months to a year, and somebody came up to the CEO and started harassing him about the current strategy that they had. And the CEO says, well, what's going to happen when one of those people that thinks they can fix the computer, what's going to happen when they get on their computer and they try to fix it and they can't fix it? Who are they going to call? Are they going to call some random person in the yellow pages? Or are they going to call the business that's been showing them how to do this for the past 6 months? And that's the key. That's the kicker. You always be helping. And I know I did not want to give anything away for free when I first started because my mindset was on the money. I wanted to make the money. That was more important to me than anything. And if you can last with this concept, you are successful with it after a while. I'm proof of that. So the more stuff you can give away for free, I believe the more successful that you are. Yeah, I know you have an overhead. I know you got bills to pay. So you have to have some type of strategy. That's where the social listening comes in, because all right, this is group A is your freebies. This is the people in the groups that you give your freebies to, your free videos, your free content, your this or that, your free ebook on showing people how to do something. Group B is the people that are already looking for your content. And that's your strategic listening. Group C is the people that you're posting to and telling about your content. Hey, get my content here. So you got the free group, you got the people that are looking for your stuff, and then you've got your own voice, your own platform where you can tell about your stuff. And so you've actually got 2 out of 3 where you can be successful in. And the third one is probably going to help you in the long run anyway, because you have to remember this is a long game. You're not trying to look for the sale right now, because I could sell something today. I mean, I've gotten the experience and the know-how to do it, that I could sell something right now after I get off this call. But I don't want to sell it, because anybody can sell anything, because that person will take my product and they'll leave. What's going to happen? They're not going to remember me. But if I can give something away of value and something that will help these people, they're going to remember me, because they have the help in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so when it comes time 6 months down the road, and they're going to say, well, I need help on this, and then they see this, oh, Wade gave me this, well, he probably knows about it, and so they come back. Mm-hmm. And that's repeat business. That's strong.
Yeah, I like to think of it from my perspective is like teaching somebody how to change their oil. At some point they're going to get tired of crawling under the car and getting all greasy, and that's when they're going to come and have you change the oil. And it's not that they don't know how. It's just that at some point they're not going to want to crawl under the car and get greasy. So, yeah. And some will forever crawl under the car, but they may have a friend who decides they don't want to crawl under the car, and they say, hey, this guy really helps me all the time when I have trouble with the car. Why don't you go have him change your oil? Because you helped them. So it isn't always that person that you're helping. It could be their friend, it could be their connections, or somebody they meet at a ball game or whatever, that gets you connected to them because they have those good feelings about the help you gave them.
Here's
Right.
another.
It's also a matter of time, so no one has infinite time, and you have to manage your time. So if you help someone, they need you to help them manage their time, then they can buy that help from you.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point because in the busy world that we live in, he's right. I mean, it's just people don't have time to do anything, and if this is your area of expertise, and you've already gave them something free related to that, problem that they're having, then they're not going to think twice about it. Yeah, I've had that happen to me plenty of times. Somebody that is more than capable of doing the job, they're like, you know this, I've got to do this, and so they just hand it to me, and that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you mentioned about, well, several things you said, times you've said this is the long game, and this is a long-term proposal. And again, we all have bills to pay and so forth. So do you have any suggestions for that interim period before you've had a chance for those relationships to have been built up over time and to mature and develop, to get you?
I'm sorry, I kind of missed the half of that. You kind of broke up, or I kind of broke up one, but I think I understand your question. It's just say the last part again, just so I know.
Okay, well, just do you have any suggestions for getting over the hump before you've had that?
Okay.
The long game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole thing. Nothing happened for me for 8 months, and I worked 16 hours, 17 hours a day. Nothing happened. I didn't get recognized for anything. I was at one point had 50 visitors to my website a day. Didn't make any money at all. And if it wasn't for that woman out there trying to get my kids dressed right now, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. It was the push and the drive and of her, and you guys can thank her that I'm here right now, because it's because of her. And there was no money coming in. I mean, I about went broke. I did go broke. What am I talking about? I went broke. And if you don't know anybody and you don't have any marketing experience the way I did, it's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough, especially if you're starting an online business. You have to, at least set aside a year's worth of income before you try to quit your job to do something like this, if you have no contacts, which I didn't. But that 9th month, I made like $62. I was like, well, wait a minute. Here we go. Something's happening. What did I do right? And so I went back and I started looking. And then the 10th month, I got listed in Social Media Examiner. And so when that happened, my traffic just spiked and my email list blew up. And so there's that point. I'm not saying it's going to take 8 months, but you need to at least allow a year, a year's worth of income, or save that much. I've heard of people breaking out into the industry in 2 months. And then I've heard of people that are still blogging, for 3-4 years and haven't made it yet. So it just depends on your drive and your consistency with everything.
Well, I appreciate that candid assessment, because I think that's important for people to realize that. I mean, it's one thing to say it's going to be the long game, but it's helpful to really hear you speak of your own experience and what you recommend that people have to have in mind to
as they jump off that cliff.
Yeah, as they jump off the cliff.
Yeah. I jumped off of it too fast. I didn't think it through, to be honest with you. I thought I was looking at all these squeeze pages and all these people that were saying you can make $4,000 this month. Mm-hmm. But what they don't tell you is you have to have an established website. You have to have a relationship with your followers. You have to have all this stuff, and so it takes time to build that, and it's going to take you a while to get it started.
Well, I know, Wade, you have another commitment, so we don't want to go over, and so I just wanted to get closing thoughts from you, and well, let's start with closing thoughts.
Well, I think that the one thing people need to realize is I love to encourage people in this industry, especially the blogging industry. When I see a blogger trying to make it, it makes me smile because I see myself in the blogger. And I want to encourage the bloggers out there that are in your 4th month maybe, or your 1st year, whatever it may be, and you know, you're not quite making it yet. That's okay. Stay the course with your articles. Do at least one a week. Don't refrain from that. Keep going with your articles, and just dive bomb into social media. Stay on that. The Facebook is your job now. Google Plus is your job now. Whichever one it is that you pick, that's where you need to be on the most. Building relationships, getting your visibility out there, resharing other people's posts so they can see you, and eventually that's the core of your whole business. It's people that you're helping. If you start out with a mindset right from the get-go to help Marilyn get her content out there, or to help my buddies get their content out there, these people are going to see who you are if you keep doing it consistently. I personally pay attention when people reshare my content and they plus mention me on Google Plus. I pay attention to that. I even, I get a couple thousand notifications a day. I go to each and every individual and I say thank you for doing that, because I remember where I was at, so long ago, and that's one thing I will not stray away from, and it's the consistency of the whole thing. So I want to encourage people that building relationships is easy. You already know how to do it. You already know how to be you, and that's the easiest job in the world. The only hard part is waiting and enduring this whole process.
I love that, dive bomb into social media. That's a good one to remember. And Wade, how can people get in touch with you, contact you? What's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'm on Google Plus all day long. I have a tab open. Remember, it's plus Wade Harmon, and you can. I encourage you to get on my email list. It's wadeharmon.com/subscribe, and I usually give one article a week, and then I email my list personally every week, usually about Thursday or Friday. So try to help people with whatever they're going through there.
wadeharmon.com/subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we talk
Yeah,
about?
we need to wrap her up. And
Our next event will be we hold our events the second Tuesday of every month. So our next Small Business Web Tech event will be on Tuesday, November 11th. That's Veterans Day here in the U.S. Our topic will again be SEO and small business, and we'll be talking with our special guest, Ammon Johns, for that next event. So
yeah, we're going to be hitting web visibility and ideas about both with SEO and beyond SEO.
SEO and beyond.
And the SEO and beyond, yeah. More of a web visibility and how it encompasses things that probably don't have anything to do with SEO directly, but ultimately feed back into SEO. So it's a tangled web, and we're going to talk about that tangled web, and Ammon Johns is somebody who knows that tangled web quite well.
So Wade, thank you once again. It has truly been a pleasure, and you're right. You are just like everything I've had interaction with you on Google Plus. You're exactly the same way in real life, and it's an honor. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Right.
Well, same here. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks
Thank you.
again. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.